Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Thin Ice, the best hockey podcast coming straight out of Arizona State. My name is Kyle Krikorian, and I'm joined by Baden Delaney and Sebastian Quinn. Boys, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good.
Good.
Very happy off of this nice 5-3 Rangers victory. I know Baden loves to hear that. It was a tribute, so I'm ready to talk hockey because it's a lot easier to talk hockey when your hockey team wins.
I can't say the same.
And like we said earlier, like when we started the first couple episodes, it was going to be hard for us to kind of figure out our schedule. So last week we took a little hiatus, but now we're back talking about hockey, and I'm really excited. I don't know about you guys, but I'm glad to be back on the show.
Oh yeah, it feels nice. My week feels empty when we're not together, so it's nice to get back and talk about stuff.
I'll see things pop up and I'll be like, wow, like that'd be something good to talk about. But yeah, it's good to be back.
Absolutely. So let's just jump into it. So Sebastian, you were talking about like a rookie of the year race and like who would you pick and like what it's looking and shaping to be like. Who would you out of Beniers, Power, and Pinto? What is it looking like? I might have mispronounced.
So right now,
I don't care.
Yeah, no, you had it spot on. Right now, a lot of people are picking Power as their sleeper guy because he's been a pretty consistent D-man for the Sabres. The Sabres have looked a lot better than a lot of us have thought. And he clearly was, he was the number one pick in his draft. So there's obviously standards that he has to meet. And I think he's met them. And people want that to be seen through a Rookie of the Year award. With that being said, I think his Michigan teammate, Matty Beniers, is probably my number one choice because he's been leading the Kraken. He's top in scoring for all rookies and goals and assists, total points. And he's really the face of that franchise. But with all that being said, you now have Shane Pinto, who was selected. People had some questions raised about him. Is he really going to translate to the NHL? Well, he has. He's been on a tear the past couple games. He's second in rookie points, I want to say, I think he's at 18 right now. So he's really making a name for himself and establishing a spot among this rookie of the year race. But for me, I'm still going to stick with Beniers. I said it a couple episodes ago, so I got to stay true to my guy and keep it going with that. What about you?
I think I'm a little bit in between Beniers and Pinto because it's such a high scoring league nowadays. We talked about it last episode, how teams are looking for faster, quicker players to put points up on the board, and it's just going to go between those two players. I mean, that's what's going to trend higher. I mean, you have Beniers basically leading the entire Kraken team, which no one thought was going to be a real team this year. Last year they were a joke. Last year I think it was their first season last season, and just they're sad. Now they're competing, and that's a playoff team. And Beniers is 11 goals, 13 assists in his first season. I like it. But I'm going to be a little contrarian here. I'm going to go with Pinto only because Ottawa's kind of rocky, and I feel like that's a good environment for a rookie to be in, to like be on a little bit of a more rockier team. And that's why I just in between those two, I don't see Power being, the guy that everyone's going to look for.
Yeah, I mean, all three of them bring so much to their team. I would have to agree with Sebastian. I think with where the Kraken are right now in the standings and how much of an impact Beniers has on them individually, I would say that he's my rookie of the year. I mean, Power is 19, and I like the Sabres. I think they're in a good spot with Power and Tage Thompson, but I think Beniers, just with how much he impacts the Kraken and them being right now third in the Pacific, I really do think that he is a very talented player and he's only going to get better. So I would have to say Beniers right now. I think he's very skilled offensively and he's very young and he helps them out a lot.
Yeah, 100%. I just wanted to jump in and say Pinto's at 15 right now. I said 18, but he's at 15. But still, that's extremely impressive, and I do think it validates an argument for Rookie of the Year. So, I mean, it'll definitely be a very tight race, tighter than we've seen most of these years. And it'll be very enjoyable to see how it plays out come NHL award night. And I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of fans on either side that are extremely angry of the outcome. But I think all in all, you just have to respect who wins because they've all been pretty impressive for such a young age.
Right on. So, talking about like I want to kind of like bring this up because I'm very excited. I want to just talk about the Kings for a second. I just want to go off track a little bit. I'm watching the Calgary game right now. They're down 1-0, and they're not good in the first period. I'm fine with that. I'm so happy about how well Phoenix Copley's been playing. Quick can sit on the bench for the rest of the season, and I wouldn't bat an eye. And I just wanted to bring up how excited I am and how different this team is now coming out of, they survived the Bruins. There's a shootout, and then they barely survived it against the Sharks. And if they lost against the Sharks, I would have been pushing for a McClellan fire. But it's so exciting to watch this team finally kind of pick themselves back up. They're second in the Pacific West right now, and overcoming the Kraken. They're not going to overcome the Golden Knights. It's just how it is. But I'm just really excited to see like they're figuring out their goalie situation. Hopefully they can get the next one tonight, and Phoenix Copley can play, because this is his 5th game in a row playing, which is a lot of people were saying it's a lot for him.
It's impressive. It's impressive.
Yeah, and have games every other day, so it's nuts. But Phoenix Copley's been great for the Kings. I'm just really excited to see how this team is developing. But I know you guys have your guys' little feud with the Rangers and the Islanders. I know Sebastian was talking about it a little bit. Sorry.
Is it weird for you seeing Quick not be that guy anymore, because he was for so long?
I saw it like kind of coming in last season, and for a moment I would think that Peterson was the guy a little bit, like it was just off and on. And now this season we really saw like, okay, Peterson can't hold it down, so they sent him to the rain, and it's like, you're gonna play every single game so you can get your stuff together. And now Quick can barely move. He can't move laterally at all. He's like, I don't know, he's like 36 now.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're pushing it, I mean, you have, Kopitar and Doughty, they're also pushing 36, 37, which is good to have those veterans, but they've got to push away from relying on him, because it's just not going to work. Now, Phoenix Copley isn't extremely young, but he comes into the arena with some sort of confidence that the team can definitely rely on. Whether as Quick, it's like, oh boy, here comes Grandpa coming in between the pipes, so we got to help him out. And everyone's kind of upset. They feel sympathetic towards. Oh my gosh, Velarde got leveled. Anyways, sorry. Quick, like everyone is kind of like sympathetic towards Quick. Like he didn't play in the Bruins game, and he's from Boston, and they were saying like, I'm sure he would have wanted to play under those lights. They would have lost. The Kings would have lost that game 4-0 if he was playing. Like, it's time to let go,
Yeah.
and they got to move past these veterans and just play them out. They're not going to trade them, because that's just how it is. They're too loyal to these players, but these newer, younger players are just going to take over. And Trevor Moore just signed a 5-year deal.
Especially when you're competing like the Kings are, you can't really have any like pity games for Quick. Like you need to keep winning, and you got to keep competing. So as soon as you put him in just because you feel bad, I mean, and just because he's been there for a while, that's when you kind of start to lose like that competitive edge. So I think they have to stick with what's working, whether it hurts
and
Quick's feelings or Quick's fans' feelings. You just
Agreed.
It's like 2014 was years ago. It's over, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to start against the Coyotes, I think, on Friday, tomorrow. So
he had his run at it, and unfortunately, it seems to be over. But
it's hard. It is hard to accept that. I mean, everyone's gonna feel that way with McDavid in the next 15 years. Everyone's gonna be like, "Well, look at back how good he was," and it's just how it is for all sports. So it's disappointing at one aspect, but at the other time, it's like we need to win games. They need to win games. I'm not on the team. So, anyways,
I do want to bring some.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you mentioned that they're gonna start Quick against the Coyotes, and I wanted to bring up something interesting about the Coyotes. I wanted to address Clayton Keller. Clayton Keller has been, I'd say, probably in terms of outstanding this year. He's definitely on all-star level, and he's really leading this team. And I kind of wanted to get you guys your perspective on him, because I mean, he's clearly shown that he's been capable of being a leader and a star over the past few seasons. But I think this year he's got 30 points in 31 games. He's become the face of the Arizona Coyotes, if they even have a face. I don't know if they're good enough to classify him as that. But I mean, it's been pretty fun to watch as, I guess, Arizona students now following the team.
Yeah, I mean, he's played really well. When you look at his 30 points, and he's not surrounded by much. Like we've seen Coyotes games on local TV when we're at school, and watch him like here and there, but they're just not a very talented team, and they've been playing better as of late. They have, but he's kind of been like the focal point of that team, and just 30 points, and he still has a -9 plus minus. So it just shows that like how no matter how well he plays, he's not. It's still gonna be hard for them to win games. But I've been very impressed by what he's been doing. He's only 24, so I mean, I think sky's the limit for him, and I've been really, really impressed. And I think the Coyotes should hold on to him for as long as possible.
Yeah, the Coyotes, they're not doing as terrible as a lot of the critics would say. I mean, I really like watching them play in the mullet. It's so exciting. I think that just makes them as a team 10 times better. And, with Clayton Keller also basically leading the team, I think he had a hat trick like last week too. He's just on fire. All I see on Coyotes' Instagram is just Clayton Keller, Clayton Keller. And that's going to be one big challenge for Quick because he's not quick anymore. He's slow. So it's gonna be exciting. And I think also the Coyotes, correct me if I'm wrong, if they're not undefeated in overtime, they have like a 90% win percentage in overtime. I don't know for sure, but I remember like at least earlier in the season, they were doing very well in overtime to the point where if they can't win a regulation, they'll win in overtime. So, if Quick
they're one of the clutch teams.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
You're gonna they need to win regular games, but it's just a fun younger team to watch. And who knows if they want to tank and try to pick up Bedard, that team is gonna skyrocket.
I don't know where Bedard's going to go. I don't think it's the Coyotes because some of these teams are making it very obvious that they're tanking for him.
Oh yeah, look at the Ducks.
Especially, after this World Junior Cup, like I think if he does what he did last time and just completely take over and show he's the best player on the ice, I know we've been hyping this kid up, but I don't know who's going to get him, and I don't know whose lives are going to be changed.
I don't know. I don't know where I would want to see Bedard play because I want players to be good. Like I feel bad for Zegras sometimes playing it in Anaheim.
Yeah.
He's so talented and he has so much energy, and it's hard over there. And especially with Terry there too. Like Terry's not a terrible player. He gets outshined by Zegras a lot. So if the Ducks can make that push towards Bedard, that'd be great. But I think it's gonna come down to the lottery because that's just how it works. Which I really do like how the lottery works. I wish all sports did. I wish football did it just to make it more interesting. But
it's like half the clips you see from the Ducks are from Zegras.
Exactly. He's probably the most entertaining player in hockey. Like when it comes to highlights. Mm-hmm. And like you said, he's just stuck in Anaheim with no future. And that's kind of horrible to see as a true hockey fan.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't think that he is a player that like can single-handedly kind of change a franchise. But I think if you put him alongside like a good line or a couple good players, he is going to be even more valuable. I think he's more valuable as the second or third guy.
I think him and like Cole Caulfield are in that same tier of like, you need them to win, but just them alone won't get you those wins.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
They can't put the team on their back, unfortunately.
Yeah, but they could do everything but that, which is, I mean, it's valuable to have, like we said, on definitely like a playoff team would appreciate Zegras' ability to shot create and score goals. But if you just have Zegras, you can't assume you're going to be a playoff team because that's been pretty clear to the rest of the NHL through the Ducks.
Right. So, with that being said, like, building around a player and what teams need, and you can't have a Trevor Zegras and expect to win a bunch of games. So, Sebastian, I want to start with you. What is your dream three?
My dream three.
What is your dream three? We'll all go in order. So
we'll do like a draft, right?
Yeah, it's like a draft.
Right. So I think if I had to pick a dream three,
you can't do this. You can't do Connor. You can't do McDavid as a forward and McDavid as a defenseman. That doesn't count.
Okay, so no,
doesn't count.
So I got it. All right. So let's see. With a forward, a demon, and a goalie, I think it's pretty clear. Number one, you got to take McDavid. Like, I don't know. If you don't take McDavid, I don't know if I'd be qualified to sit in this chair and talk about hockey. You'd probably look at me like I'm crazy. And I just want to point out, are we going to do the next 5 years? Like 5 years?
I'd say 5 years.
Okay.
5 years is good.
Yeah, I'll go McDavid number one for my forward position, and then I'll try to figure stuff out as we go.
Okay, that's a no-brainer. I mean, I mean, I expected one of us was going to pick McDavid. You'd have to, right? But Baden, what are you thinking as forward? Now you have to scramble because you can't pick McDavid anymore.
I mean, there's a lot of great options. You take his counterpart, Draisaitl, but I think I would go Austin Matthews. I think I would take Matthews. I think he is capable of changing an offense and being that guy. I could think about McKinnon, but I do think Austin Matthews is at his age is just so valuable. And I mean, I'm happy to get him after McDavid. There's a lot of great forwards, and since there only being three of us, we're all gonna get good players. But yeah, I would take Matthews. That's the second pick there.
Now I'm gonna go. See, it's now I'm a little stuck, and I'm honestly, you're gonna get a little upset with me. I'm gonna be a little biased here, and it's okay because it's okay for us to be a little biased. I'm gonna go Kevin Fiala, only because, listen, just listen to me.
That is absurd.
This is not absurd. Listen to me. You're talking about the next 5 years. Kevin Fiala is fairly young, just like McDavid is. And I think he's going to be a guy.
McDavid is younger than him.
Yeah, but I don't understand how you take Fiala in a world where we have Nathan McKinnon playing hockey. We have Kirill Kaprizov, who we'll get to after this. Even Jason Robertson, Clinton Keller.
This guy,
that is just
he plays like you even said.
That is biased. You can't go into that.
You
can't
even
go into
said
that.
he plays like a point guard, and I want to watch Fiala play.
Andrew Copp plays like a point guard.
I don't care. I want Fiala. And
you went into that take knowing it was biased.
No, you know what? It's perfectly fine because it just makes it so much easier. All right, you're back up on the board at the snake. So who are you taking for either your goalie or
redeem yourself? Because right now you
my goalie
or defenseman or goalie. You could pick
either.
Make us feel like you're worthy of being on the show.
I like Olmark. I think it's simple. I mean, I was shocked that he allowed the Kings to bring him into overtime and then into a shootout. But even then, I still like Olmark. I think he's definitely one of the best goalies in the league. Is the best goalie in the league, and he will be for the next 5 years.
Right.
And go down the list. I know exactly. I think I know who you're gonna pick, Sebastian. But I think Olmark's a no-brainer on that one.
This is gonna hurt me, but I'm gonna go defender. And I'm gonna go Adam Fox.
Okay.
Not a Rangers guy. I hate the Rangers as an Islanders fan, but I think Fox he's got to be in the conversation as a top 5 defender in the league, and he's not old yet. So I mean, I think he's gonna be good for a while. And he's 24. So I would say Adam Fox, him with Austin Matthews. I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, I think it's criminal that you guys let me put this together, but I don't know how I ended up with arguably the top 2 hockey players on the planet. I'm taking Cale Makar as my defenseman. It's kind of a give me. And honestly, there's some other guys that I'll get into if they don't get taken by Kyle. But until then, I guess I'll go with my goalie. And it'd be a shame for me not to pick my guy, Igor the GOAT.
Igor.
He's had a pretty rough season, but I wouldn't even say rough. He's still above average goalie. But after last year, he was elite, and he definitely has a lot of potential. So I'm pretty happy with those 3, Connor, Kale, Igor Shesterkin, because I feel like before the season, you have people rate their positions, and that's probably the 1 at forward, the 1 at D-man, and the 1 at goalie. And I got them all in the same draft, so I'm kind of content with that. More than content.
Okay. At my goalie, I'd have to say who I think. I think I'm gonna go Vasilevsky. I think Vasilevsky is the best goalie in the league, in my opinion. I guess that could be in debate with Shesterkin and others, but I think Vasilevsky, has been playing so well for such a long time, and he's still only 28. So I think he's going to be a great goalie for a while. So I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm the last one, so I have to pick as a defenseman now. And I'm going to go Hampus Lindholm. I think Lindholm is like a if player. I feel like defensemen, they're one of those guys that is more of a supporter rather than someone you have to really rely on. And obviously, I'm not going to pick Doughty because I can't pick Doughty. I would love to pick Doughty, but I can't. I liked Lindholm when he was on the Ducks. I'm really surprised that the Ducks let him go, and I think that's a big weakness from the Ducks. They just lost one of the best defensemen in the league. And I like watching him on the Bruins. I think he's a great player. He is 28. He's a little older, but I don't think that really slows him down very much. I think if we're looking in 5 years, I think he's going to produce the same amount of numbers and the same quality performance that he has been recently. And I'm just going to go with Lindholm. He's a reliable guy. I don't expect anything less or anything more. He's a guy that you put on the ice and you know exactly what you're going to get. That's how I feel about Lindholm.
Yeah, no, it's a solid pick. In my opinion, I feel like the best undrafted lineup that we can make. You have either your Kaprizov or Tage Thompson for your forward position for the next 5 years. It seems pretty. You'll be pretty lucky with those guys. They'll play consistent. Defenseman. You still got Victor Hedman. You got Miro Heiskanen. Charlie McAvoy just came back, and he's looking like still one of the best in the league. And then you have Sorokin in the net, Ottinger.
I looked at Hedman, but by the end of these 5 years, he's going to be 37.
Yeah, so it's just, I mean,
it's definitely preference.
Defenders usually play long, but yeah, it's the thing is youth. I think we got it kind of right. I mean, I'm over the moon with my team, but
yeah, I don't know why I didn't think Kamakar, but
Adam Fox is.
I made a very biased decision, and I'm not upset about it at all. I'm just gonna go on the record. I'm just gonna go on the record and say that.
That's why
we just we just made a draft, but I wish let's kind of backtrack a little bit. If you had to pick one single player to build around, not a special three or your dream three, one player to build around, not named Connor Taylor Austin.
Yeah, or we could even just throw in anybody named in our draft. We could do that. Because I know NHL Fantasy put out, but we could just do anybody now. Yeah. Okay.
This is where I was going to say Fiala now because
I'm not going to say it. I won't.
He was not in those three.
I'm definitely going to take. Oh, I would probably take Kaprizov because he showed that he could lead a team because he did it with the Wild last year and he's doing it with the Wild this year again.
Prior to the show, Sebastian and I were talking about how underappreciated he is.
And he's still so young, 25. Right? Like, if you wanted to build a team, I think that he's a player you could stick in your franchise. You could build a lineup that caters towards him and his playmaking ability, his goal scoring ability. And you know what you're getting, and what you're getting is a playoff floor and a Stanley Cup ceiling. And that's what you want. I mean, the only other obvious pick, I think, I just forgot about him, but is Nathan McKinnon. But I still feel like he should have been set over Fiala. But we won't get into that. So we can continue.
Yeah, that would be mine. I was going to say McKinnon. I would probably start with McKinnon. That's kind of basic. I mean, you see guys like Robertson who are young and Tage Thompson, but I think Robertson is too much a goal reliant offensive player. I think someone like McKinnon, has the crazy highlight reels, but he's very good at spreading the puck and scoring. Draisaitl is the same age as McKinnon, so you gotta think Draisaitl as well. But I would say I would take Nathan McKinnon if I had to start a franchise. I just think he's so elusive offensively, and he makes it so tough on defenses.
He's also got the leadership quality that we don't talk enough about. And I mean, you see, he's led his team to a cup. They won the cup, and that's something that you can't teach. Being a good leader is a natural born talent, and McKinnon has that. So I think that's more than a valid pick. What about you, Kyle?
I'm gonna go a little bit of a younger guy because I see so much potential in him. I've mentioned it before. I really like Trevor Zegras. I know it like I said, it's rough on the Ducks right now, and he might not put up the numbers we want to see and he's half and half on some games. But I think you have to look at it as a team perspective. Players are going to want to be around Trevor. I think he's a guy that brings energy to the locker room. Everyone wants to support him, and he's a guy that no one wants to disappoint. And oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, what?
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's tied 1-1. Okay. Sorry. That was amazing. Velarde's is just anyways. I should have picked Velarde. Anyways, sorry. Back to what I was saying. I just think Trevor Zegras is a guy you can put a bunch of players around, and he might not be the best player on the team, but everyone's going to want to build that same energy that he has and the character that he has. And I really like seeing how he plays. He's exciting to watch. It's one of the reasons why I watch the Ducks. And then when they're down 4-0, I'm like, okay, next game. That's how I feel about it.
I think another thing I wanted to go off of, I know we mentioned his name before, but was Tage Thompson. It was actually brought up to me by a listener on here, one of my friends, which is, I mean, that sounds sad to say, but he asked me. He said realistically, because we were talking about Tage Thompson like he was the best thing since sliced bread, which was pretty true after the other night. I still stand by that take. How many players in the league would you take over Tage Thompson right now? And in my head, I'm like, oh, he's top 10. But then you start listing names and names and names and names, and you get down to what mark is he really in? For me, I'd say he's probably in that 15 to 18 range as a player right now. And I don't know where you guys stand on that, because I feel like we could sit here and name names for a solid amount of time until we reach a player of his standard.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of hockey is definitely fit, and I think he fits well with the Sabres. But I would say he's around I would say 12 to 15. I mean, he hasn't proved too much yet. He's still very young, so there's plenty of players that I would take over him. I was actually looking, and I wanted to just throw out a name, Mikko Rantanen, and your
Okay.
guys' thoughts. Your guys' thoughts, because he right now 40 points, and it seems like he's 26 and he's been good every year. Every year he's been playing, he's been good, and I just every time I watch him, I'm so impressed.
I mean, it definitely helps, like you said, fit. He's in that system on the Avs. He's in the system on the Avs, and he's been playing very well for very long. I think he's an extremely talented player, but I do think it helps that they've been missing a lot of other talent, because he's really had to come out and show that he can. He's the guy. While that relies on talent, it also relies on the coaching staff knowing that their only way to win is to play through guys like Rantanen and like Makar. So I think that a lot of his production is coming from scheming, because when you have him playing and skating with a bunch of AHLers, there's not many guys you could go to. And I think his production is coming from that. But I still think he's an extremely talented player. I won't put that past him.
Yeah, just circling back to how many players would you take over Tage Thompson? I'd say around 15. I like it. I mean, he does. I still think he has a lot to prove. Thinking about how young he is. As long as he can put up those consistent numbers, I can definitely see you taking 15 players or putting 15 players under him or whatever. But put him on another team, see how he performs, and I think he fits in the Sabres' system pretty well.
Yeah, and that's what brings us to Baden's take with like Rantanen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a system thing.
So if you look at like guys that like Robertson hasn't proved all that much yet, would you take Thompson or Robertson?
I think I'd take Robertson because of his ceiling. Like Thompson has proven that he's capable of like taking over games.
But
That's
Thompson might be playing at his ceiling right now.
the thing. Like
Yeah.
we know, like I don't know how much higher you could get for Thompson than what he is now, which is just elite shot creating and goal scoring ability. Robertson has like been very consistent when it comes to those things. Like when he scores, it's not just like he'll have a game where he goes out and it's like, oh bang, 3 goals, and then he's done, and then he keeps adding to his total. Robertson seems to go out there
It's
every
like a
night.
goal every game.
Yeah, and if it's not a goal, he's putting up 2 assists. He's just helping the team. He's a constant like plus player, and he's so young. Keep in mind, if you look at like his beginning of the career stats compared to like McDavid's beginning of the career stats, because NHL decided to make this graphic, it's extremely similar, but the difference is like Robertson is doing this in his 20s, McDavid's did it in his teens. So you question ceiling at that point, but I still think Robertson is so young. There is so much room for, like we talked about Keller. Keller's in this is like his 5th or 6th year in the NHL already, and he's still extremely young, but he's been playing for a while. And I don't think his ceiling is anywhere close to Robertson's. Like, and that's a scary thing. But like you said,
Go ahead, Sebastian.
I was gonna say, like you said, I think Thompson is at his ceiling, and I don't know if Robertson's ever going to come close to that.
All right. Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, yeah, I now you put it like that, it's hard to put them together. I don't know. I'd have to think about that, I think.
I will say the graphic. I saw the same one of Robertson and McDavid. I think it's just criminal at this point to compare anyone to McDavid.
Yeah, it is.
It's like in the NFL when they showed the Tom Brady versus Kenny Pickett like stats. like career
Oh
stats.
my
It's like
gosh.
Why?
there's no reason to compare McDavid with anyone. Like give Robertson a comparison where it's a little bit more like achievable and like attainable. You know what I mean?
Give Robertson like a comparison to like Austin Matthews or somebody who is elite, has like that MVP trophy, has that MVP ceiling, but isn't like
arguably the best player of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Like what?
Like
I
skill
don't know.
wise.
Yeah, it's like you said, the Brady Pickett one. It reminds me of like the Phillip Rivers one when they put it up with him and Justin Herbert, and it was like, how many kids do they have? Like, what is the point of that graphic?
Yeah, you can make a stat out of anything nowadays.
Exactly. They put up a stat the other night. I was watching the Penguins game. It was like comparing Crosby to Adam Fox, and they don't play the same position. One of them has been so long. They were like, oh, Crosby cups versus Adam Fox cups. It's not even in the same conversation. And that comes down to another thing we can get into another show when it comes to like making graphics for the NHL. But I do like what you said. Robertson should be given more fair comparisons so people don't hate on him when he doesn't achieve those standards.
Because people will look at that and say, oh, he's not as good as McDavid. He must not be that good.
Exactly. No, he is.
That is not how it works.
Let him thrive. He could be compared to himself. Compare him to Roop Hintz, his own teammate. Like, let's do that. And I don't know. It's a very interesting time.
Stars look good.
They do. A lot of young talent in the league too. It's going to be an entertaining rest of the season. It's going to be an entertaining next 10 years. And we'll just keep on talking about hockey until that point.
Hopefully the Islanders get better between now and 10 years. Hopefully the Islanders.
Yeah, hopefully we both have a cup, and then we could chirp Kyle because Fiala didn't lead them to glory.
Dude, you know
I had
what?
to go through two
Just watch. This is. I'm not even gonna say anything else. I'm not even gonna say anything.
If Fiala makes an All-Star game, I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
That's it. A cup of coffee.
Hey man, if you're that
so your expectations are low. Then
you were so
confident on that take. That free cup of coffee.
So you're expecting him to make the All-Star game.
If he does.
For you, Kyle, it seems like the odds of him making the All-Star game were very, very much in your favor. So that cup of coffee might be the right reward.
If he holds himself over McKinnon and Draisaitl and Thompson and Keller and Kaprizov. And
all right. That's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you all for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at Thin Ice. You could also please subscribe to the YouTube channel at Official Thin Ice. We really support it. We really appreciate all the support that we get from everybody. We appreciate the feedback. So if you could ever reach out to us and say, oh, maybe do this, maybe do that, we really like it. We really appreciate it, and especially considering we're just starting out. So thank you very much for listening.
Ask us questions.
Yeah, please ask us questions. We love to talk about different topics because sometimes we'll get stuck with the same format. But please, reach out to us, and we'll definitely take your suggestions. But until then, my name's Kyle Krikorian.
I'm Sebastian Quinn.
I'm Baden Delaney.
Right on. Thanks everyone for listening, and hopefully we'll be back next week on Thin Ice. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.